Hello everyone, welcome to module 11 of the n8n basics 0 to 1 course. This module is going to be about AI agent node and we dive deep into this. Now I know that I've already shown a glimpse of what that AI agent can do, but we'll dive much further deep into what the AI agent node is, and I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy this session. So trust me when I say this, after watching this entire module, your brain would start thinking in the possibilities which are available using this AI agent node. Stick with me and I take you through this entire thing. Now, starting off, this AI agent node, beyond simple AI calls, of course, the AI agent node can remember past interactions and use tools like APIs. It acts more like a virtual assistant than a one-off text generator. So if you remember in the last video, the OpenAI node was a text generator, right? Or some image generator, or a transcribing a recording, or translating a recording, audio generating. That's one action. But AI agent has the capability of performing multiple actions, and I'll show you how. So let's directly go to the n8n workflow, because that is where the AI agent exists and that's where we'll start it from. So we'll simply type in AI agent and yeah, we get it here. We'll simply click on this and this is our AI agent node. So I know that you are already familiar with this particular screen by now. So I'll just start diving into this directly, and what are the options, what are the things that we have available here, what are the things that we can do with this. The very first thing is source of the prompt. It has a connected chat trigger. Of course, the moment that you build in an AI node, the chat trigger already gets connected and you can open chat and start talking to it. But what if you want to attach this particular AI agent to Telegram, to WhatsApp, or to any other thing, right? Apart from the chat trigger, we use this define below, and this says that use an expression to reference data in previous node and enter a static text. So this is where you will enter your user prompt or whatever the user prompt would be coming from. Okay, so this is more like gonna be like a dynamic message which is being passed from the previous node. So if it's a Telegram bot and you want that dynamic message to come from that particular instance, you can simply place it here. Now there are two options when we are doing this. One, when we are building it into simple workflows, we really don't need to attach a memory to it. Now, if you remember, memory was the AI agent remembering our past conversations. But if you are creating a chatbot and you want to make it contextually aware, you will have to create a memory. And in this case, when you're defining it below, the memory option would actually change to something else. So this first would look like chat trigger node if the chat trigger is only connected. But let's say if it's not connected and we run this workflow will definitely give an error. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to define this session ID as defined below, and we'll need to put a key here, which key is gonna be any static ID or any ID which is gonna remain fixed throughout the entire journey of a conversation with a customer, and that's gonna be the same. So user 1 came in, and even 5 years later, if that same user 1 comes back, this will remember using this key itself. Okay, so every user or every customer will be allotted one key. Okay, one primary key kind of thing, one static session ID that you have to place here. That's it. And that is how you can build a contextually aware chatbot using the AI agent. But for now, let's just keep it this way, keep it simple. We'll dive into that chatbot thing in the advanced modules, but I'll need to explain this entire AI agent first, and then we'll dive into that. User message would obviously be anything which we are talking to the AI agent. You already know what user message means from the past OpenAI node video. Then this is the require specific output format option. It's quite good whenever you want output in a particular format. Okay, so how this works is you turn it on, you would get this option of connecting an output parser, and a new option would be unlocked right here in the bottom right corner, which is this output parser thing. And if you'll come back, this is how it would look like. So now let's click on this and explore what options does it have. First is auto fixing output parser. Deprecated, use structured output parser. I don't think that this is in use right now. One is item list output parser. It returns the result as separate items. Okay, so if the AI agent is generating multiple items, it would separate it. And this is the one which me and a lot of AI developers in n8n we are using, which is structured output parser. In this, we'll have to define an entire JSON of what this object and what is the value is that object is going to contain. You really don't need to know how this is going to come out. You ask ChatGPT to create a JSON file for this structured output parser, and you prompt ChatGPT and tell it in detail as to what you want the output to look like. Rest everything the ChatGPT would do. Keep on prompting, keep on talking to it. It would rectify all the things. Yeah, believe me, that's very easy, very comfortable. ChatGPT has the potential to do this very comfortably. So this was about structured parser, quite a useful option, because generally AI agents are giving like a normal text output that, okay, this instance was completed. They don't create a structure output that we need to actually put in the flows. So yeah, very crucial option that we have here, very crucial feature that we have. So definitely start using this in your workflows. So now the next option, which is enable fallback model. I just go to this, but before that, I come to this chat model option that you can see right here. Now you know that you already know this chat model is the brain, and since you already understand what chat model is, we can connect any chat model. Let's say OpenAI, for example. Right now we connected it, and yeah, here you go. We can select the model here as Foro Mini, being my personal favorite. So just in case your AI agent is running in an actual workflow and for some reason you forgot to recharge the OpenAI account, and this AI agent would stop working. Why? Because you are not paying the salary to the waiter now. Okay, so our API will not bring the information that you're asking for. So for just those cases, we enable this fallback model and we get this option of attaching a fallback model, and maybe we can create a different model. For example, we can keep Anthropic, we can keep Gemini, right? We can keep any of these chat models, which would be the second brain of the AI agent, that if the first brain fails, you use this second brain. Now let's explore some more options that it has. We'll click on this add option, system message. You already know about system message. This is quite crucial for an AI agent. You always attach a system message and you always attach a prompt associated to that system message to define what this AI agent can do. Now, I've already explained this in depth in the previous OpenAI note, so I wouldn't be diving deep into this, but yeah, you already know what the system message means. So always keep a system message for an AI agent. And if you're creating a multi-AI agentic system, what you need to define in the system message of an AI agent is that you are a multi-AI agent manager and you have multiple AI agents connected to you, and you have to choose the right agent to perform a certain action based on the user's request. So that thing you will have to put in the system message. Now, max iterations, how many times this AI agent should be using, return immediate steps, automatically pass through binary images, batch processing, enable streaming. Out of these, personally, what I have felt is batch processing is one of the crucial elements, because sometimes when a lot of information is coming in, the AI agent starts hallucinating. So hallucination is a behavior in AI or APIs basically, when there's a lot of input and a lot of output requested. So the waiter kind of gets a bit fumbled and he starts messing up things. He'll probably drop some dishes here and there. He'll probably miss out your order or give a different order to you and a different order to another table. In those cases, what we use is batch processing, where we can tell the AI agent that no matter how many items you are receiving, it's 1,000, 20,000, billions, whatever. The only thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to process in batch sizes of 1. So if you receive 10 elements, don't start processing the 10 elements in a single instant. Do it one by one. That's it. And in batch size 1, the AI never hallucinates. Okay. So this is a very crucial learning which I also got when I was using the AI agent in one of my workflows, and the output, it was not giving any output, to be honest. Every time the AI agent started running, there was a connection loss message which was coming, and it was basically hallucinating. So I had to put in the batch processing and batch size. What other options do we have here? Enable streaming. You already know about the streaming option from the webhook node or the webhook module. So yeah, you can enable that as well. But really, these are the options which we don't majorly use. I want to dive into something which is much more crucial, which is the tools option. So we start exploring this. Now, this tool is any power that you want to give to the AI agent. What do I mean by power? Whatever tool you will give to the AI agent, it would be able to perform that particular action. It's as simple as that. If you have given it a Gmail tool, it would be able to send Gmails. If you have given it Google Calendars, it would be able to schedule calls for you. Then if there is SERP API, it would be able to do those flight searches, hotel searches, all those kind of things. So those are the tool nodes which are already available here. right? You can explore. These are exactly all the community nodes which we attach using this plus button. All of those are available as tools here for the AI agent. Okay, so you can explore it. You can look into these. You can start working on them. So yeah, you can explore all of these other tools and you can attach whatever you want to attach. Now, two of the tools which are very simple but kind of plays a big role in how the AI agent is going to function is this calculator. Quite fun. You want to add this, you can. And then another one is this think tool. So what this does is this gives your AI agent the potential to think upon the output that it is generating. Means it would ask counter questions to itself that whether or not this output is actually worth giving out. So one of the best tools which n8n recently introduced. So totally start using this. But what I really want to dive into is this recommended tools. So I'd start off with something which you already know, which is the HTTP request tool. You've already known what HTTP request node is, how it functions. It can connect any API of any website whose native node is not available to n8n, and this HTTP request tool also does the same. So if you want to give the AI agent a potential of performing an action which is not present natively on n8n community, that particular potential can be given to the AI agent using this HTTP tool. So next thing is this code tool node. What this does is it would give the AI agent to perform a particular action which has been written in a code. Okay, so for example, and a very simple example, let's say the previous node is giving an input in a date format, which is in seconds or in cron expression or in ISO expression, right? And what you want to put out is more like a human readable format, which is DDMMYY and the 12-hour time. That entire feature, you can create a code for performing that action, and you can attach that particular code in this code tool and give that tool to the AI agent. Then AI agent would also be able to perform that on a whim without you particularly mentioning that, okay, do this for me. So quite a cool tool to have, right? We can do a lot of things using this code node, but yeah, we're keeping it no code and low code. So that's what I'm going to explain you a bit more about. Next, and a very, very, very interesting thing that I want to dive into is this call n8n workflow tool. How this functions, I would have to show you an entire example of how this would work. I'd simply start attaching this call n8n workflow tool. What you will see is there's a description, there's a source, there's database, and then there's workflows. So what this does is this tool gives AI agent a capability of calling any other workflow which is active on your cloud. So let's say in our database, we already have a workflow, which is this competitor research workflow. We'll attach this here. So now by this simple click, this AI agent got the capability of calling this LinkedIn competitor research anytime it wants. For example, let's say now I ask it that, hey, what are the most recent posts which have been made by my competitors? Can you upload that on the Google Sheet? So then what would happen is this AI agent will automatically call this workflow on its own without us instructing it particularly to call that workflow. And yeah, the entire magic would happen. You would see on your Google Sheets that all the competitor posts have been made live. So there are multiple use cases of these. This was a very simple one that I told because you can create some other workflow for some other function and you can simply give the AI agent the potential to call that workflow to get a particular output from there. And description is basically you all have to define that what this tool is meant to do. Like this tool, call this tool to get a random color. So this one is basically call this tool to get LinkedIn competitor research done. So then the AI agent will know that, okay, this is the tool that I need to call whenever I want to do a particular thing, which has been asked to me via the chat note. So this particular call n8n workflow tool, you would see in a lot of templates, which people are launching with those 150 AI agentic workflows, n8n templates. All of them have one AI agent which has been attached to this call n8n workflow tool, and this workflow tool is calling the other workflows. So all you have to do is you'll have to copy paste those simple small workflows into a different workflow, make them active, come back to this AI agent, click on this call n8n workflow, attach that particular workflow to here, and you'd be good to go. This was actually the initial way of creating multi-AI agentic models, where we'll create a different workflow all in all, where another AI agent is there who's doing the job. So there's one more thing that you'll need to do before you can call any workflow using this AI agent, is that you'll have to go to that particular workflow and change its trigger to executes a workflow when executed by another workflow. That's it. The moment that you do this, you can simply come here, you can paste it here, and there you go. Now, this workflow can be executed using this trigger node or that AI agent. So coming back to our AI agent, there is one more tool which I want to explain, which is this MCP client tool. And it calls MCP servers. Now I would dive into MCP server and client tool in a bit depth in some later advanced videos, but all you need to know is this exists. One final tool which I want to show you, and n8n has recently introduced these in order to create multi-AI agentic models, is the AI agent tool itself. So what we were doing using the n8n workflow tool in the past, now all that can be done using this AI agent tool, because always remember that you need to give your AI agent only one functionality. So if it's a call booking agent, it is much better to create an AI agent which has all the potential and is an expert at booking a call or performing some action on Google Calendar than to attach every tool into the AI agent and then the AI agent is hallucinating between multiple tools. Now this AI agent knows that if I need to book a call on the calendar, I'll simply have to call this AI agent and this would take care of the rest. You can simply attach this chat model back to this. Chat model would remain the same. This AI agent need not to be contextually aware particularly, but all you need to simply do is attach the tool of Google Calendar. Here you would be good to go. Now you can simply connect your credentials, let the model define this, whatever you want to let the model define. You can put in an operation as create, delete, get many. You attach multiple tools to this, with every tool having one function or one action which it is able to perform. And now this AI agent tool will become an expert in booking calls or doing anything on the Google Calendar. So now let's go back to our PPT. So here we are. You already saw AI agent having the memory, the tools, the APIs, the context, which is kind of again the memory, but context was much more different if we are doing it on a chatbot or we are doing it on WhatsApp or Telegram. Next, OpenAI key features. I've already explained these. Memory, it keeps context across multiple conversation steps, remembers previous user inputs and agent responses, maintains conversation history for contextual understanding, creates more natural human-like interactions. Tools can fetch data, look up information, or call APIs mid-conversation, like access external data sources during conversation, make real API calls, gather information, generate dynamic responses based on current data. Next, what we are gonna dive into, which is gonna be module 11 part 2, is we are gonna create an entire Telegram bot with memory, and specifically the ones which you have saw that, okay, a Telegram message is being sent on a voice note and the entire agent is running. We are gonna create that Telegram bot in depth, in detail, so you also understand how the OpenAI node and this AI agent node works. And we'd probably give it the capability of booking a calendar invite and sending a Gmail to the other person with whom the calendar invite was booked. So yeah, see you in the part 2 of this module. Ciao.